Hi, I'm Glenn with Independence Training.
And I'm John with Independence Training.
And we're out here today to talk to you a little bit about the types of targets that we use in our training.
Now, a lot of different companies use a lot of different targets, and as you can see, some of the targets we have going on here, we use a wide variety of targets for different purposes, for marksmanship and then for speed, and then to show anatomy and things like that.
So what we're going to do in this video is we're going to show you specifically why we use the targets that we use in all of our small arms training classes: handgun, carbine, and shotgun. This is one of our more basic targets that we use primarily for marksmanship training, and what we've got are 6-inch circles, 9 of them numbered 1 through 9.
Now, the numbers allow us to have our students have a good spot to focus on for tighter, more precise shooting, and then when we go to a faster style of shooting, they've got this 6-inch circle, so they're still combat effective, but they've still got a good focus point there.
So a target that we use throughout the majority of a lot of our small arms classes is the VTAC target, or the Viking Tactics target, designed by Kyle Lamb. And part of the reason we like this target so much is, first of all, it comes on heavy paper, which is nice, helps to hold up to the elements, also helps to hold up to a lot of abuse. The other nice thing about it is it shows the skeletal outline of the body. It also has the individual competition style outlines for IDPA and IPSC training. And it has very specific head box, chest box, and pelvic box.
You can also, after you've shot the center of it up on that side, you can flip it over and use your 1 through 5s, your black and your whites, for speed and accuracy drills, or you can just use this side of it for your marksmanship, and then you can move into some speed and accuracy drills.
Black 2, black 3.
In our defensive style firearms courses, we use photorealistic targets a lot. And while we're not using these to say that you would specifically find yourself in these kinds of exact situations, they do help us to show our students that they need to start thinking outside the box in what and who they may be engaging. We use men, women, people of different sizes, and lots of different situations to kind of give people a more realistic idea of the kind of real-world situations they may find themselves in.
To add a little bit more to what Glenn was saying, is most of the photos that we have, or actually all of the photorealistic targets we have there, are all armed assailants in those photos, so you're justified in using lethal force. But we give you reduced profiles. There are men, women. You have to think about your background and whether or not you can actually make the shot that you need to make at that particular time.
Really stresses shot accountability because, you know, in this target, just as an example, we've got a school bus in a downtown area. Here we've got an office building behind your opponent. And here we have kind of an unknown dark space out a window that would basically be going into a neighborhood. And on the other, many variations we have of these targets, it really stresses that shot accountability. So in several of our classes, including our low light, no light class, we use these 3D targets from Precision 3D Targets. And the reason that we like them is because, one, we can put clothing on them, and dark clothing especially is really beneficial because you can't really see your hits as you're shooting. But we can also put hats, we can put pants, we can put arms on them and put different objects in their hand. In this case, this particular target does have a firearm, which of course justify use of lethal force most of the time. We have some situations, scenarios where we set up where this may or may not be the justification that someone's looking for, and we can put other objects in their hands: screwdrivers, cans, cell phones. So it really gives us an opportunity to work through shoot, don't shoot with a little bit more realism in our training.
And these targets are also made out of a fairly heavy-duty material, and they'll stand up to quite a bit. And you get to see the anatomy of what the human body looks like, as opposed to always, even on the photorealistic target, instead of just shooting at that flat piece of paper, you get to see the contours, you get to see the shadows cast. And these also have an insert or target backer so that you can mark your hits and make sure that you're hitting where you think you need to be hitting. And then you can just swap this out and continue to use the front half of these.
And after we've shot through, we have some of our targets that, the whole chest area has been shot out, but throw a fresh t-shirt over it and it's just as good as long as we're using a fresh target backer. So they're really a good, durable, effective option for training. Now, if you've watched some of our other videos, you've seen this style of steel target before. This is a target also from Precision 3D Targets, and this is a steel AR-500 torso cutout. And it is actually the Independence Training model. If you're looking for this very specific model, you can go to their website and find it. Part of the reason we like it because it gives us adjustable angle. There's 3 different slots in the back that allow us to adjust the target to different angles depending on the type of platform we're using and the distance we're shooting it at.
Now oftentimes when people start ringing steel, they start to let their marksmanship slip, because anywhere you hit this, based on that instant feedback, you're going to get that feedback. You're going to hear that very satisfying ring of steel. But be aware that if you start to bang around the edges, 1, you're going to damage your target, and 2, your hits are not going to be as effective as you think they are.
But that is a big benefit of steel, is that it gives us that instant feedback when we're hitting it. So it's really good to use on a lot of your movement exercises, drawing exercises, things like that. But as John mentioned, be careful that you don't let your marksmanship start to slip when you're using steel.
Well, there you go, folks. A couple of the targets that we use at Independence Training for our small arms stuff. Doesn't matter what you use, just make sure that whatever you're using holds you accountable for your marksmanship.
Also make sure that it's forcing you to think outside the box and put yourself in realistic training scenarios. You know, obviously there's no target that's going to replace a actual human combatant or any kind of real force-on-force training even, but these types of targets do make us and our students think outside the box a little bit. So whatever you're going to use, as John said, make sure that it holds you accountable for your shots, and also make sure that it helps you to put yourself in situations that may be a little outside your comfort zone. Until next time, stay aware, stay safe, and train hard. VTAC, or Viking Tactics target, designed by Kyle Lamb. And the reason... Fuck, dude.
So what he was saying was, where his face got ripped.
My face got ripped by a bug.
To add a little bit more to what Glenn was saying, these
God. these freaking remix, dude.